Have you ever watched a truly elite athlete, one of the greats, and just wondered, how did they get there? We see the highlights, right? The incredible spikes, the impossible digs, the gold medals, but that's just the last page of a really long book. So today, let's flip back to the beginning and walk through that journey together.
So, what is it? What's the secret sauce? Is it just raw talents? Being born with the right physical gifts? Having access to the best facilities? Sure, those things definitely help, no doubt. But the real story, the thing that actually forges a champion, is so much deeper, and it starts way, way earlier than you might think.
Yeah, this whole journey kicks off long before anyone's thinking about championships or scholarships. It all starts with a foundational idea, one that can literally make or break a future athlete's entire career before it's even really begun. And that first step, let's call it the first spike, it isn't about power or perfect technique. Not at all. It's about that very first time they touch the ball. It's about making the sport feel like an invitation to come play, not an immediate demand to perform. This is where it gets really smart. Look at a program like Mini Volley. They basically re-engineer the entire game for kids. Instead of throwing a 9-year-old onto a massive court with a heavy ball, they adapt everything. The courts are smaller, the nets are lower, which means more action. The balls are lighter, which means less fear and way more confidence. See, by scaling the game down, you scale the fun way up. It's brilliant. And this quote just hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? You can't lecture a kid into becoming a great volleyball player. It just doesn't work. They learn by doing. Every single touch of that ball, every silly game they play, that builds an understanding that you could never get from a textbook. It's about getting those reps in, but in a way that just feels like playing. So, for any parents listening, this is a huge takeaway. If a young athlete's first experience is built on joy, on just loving the game, you're building a foundation that can last a lifetime. Seriously, the number of trophies on the shelf at age 10 is so much less important than building a passion that's going to fuel them through all the hard work that's yet to come. Okay, so once that little spark of fun is lit, you need a guide, right? Someone to help fan it into a real flame. And this is where the coach steps in, and honestly, their influence is absolutely pivotal. And get this, there's not just one right way to be a great coach. You've got a democratic style, which is all about empowering players to be part of the decision-making. That builds incredible trust and accountability. Then you have something like a holistic style, which is more for mature athletes. It focuses on the whole person, their life on and off the court. But you see the common thread? Both styles are all about the player's growth and involvement, not just a coach barking orders. And at the end of the day, it really comes down to this guiding principle from Volleyball Canada. A coach's #1 job goes so far beyond just teaching skills and strategy. It's about creating an environment that is physically, mentally, and emotionally safe. That trust, that's the bedrock. Everything else is built on top of it.
So you have this player-focused coaching style, but how does that fit into the bigger picture? Well, it's a crucial piece of a much larger, much longer plan, a blueprint for developing an athlete from their very first practice to their final match.
This chart right here is so revealing. Just look at this. In what's called the learning to train stage, so for kids around 8 to 12 years old, the ideal ratio is 70% training and only 30% competition. Think about that. That means for every one game, there should be about 2 or 3 practices. The focus is squarely on building skills, not just chasing wins on the weekend. And that fits perfectly into this broader blueprint called long-term athlete development. You can see the whole progression here. It starts with fundamentals, where the only goal is to make moving fun. Then you move into learning to train, where kids are actually encouraged to play multiple sports to become well-rounded athletes. It's only way, way later, like 18 or 19 years old, that the focus finally shifts to trading to win and maximizing performance. It is a marathon, not a sprint. All right, so after all that training and development, what happens when it's finally time to step into the arena and really compete? Well, competition brings pressure, for sure, but in a healthy system, it also brings a huge emphasis on respect and sportsmanship. You can see this perfectly just by looking at the rules for national tournaments. Banning noisemakers, that's not just about keeping the gym quiet, it's about respecting the athletes and the game itself. And a 5-point penalty for harassing a line judge, that sends a crystal clear message. Bad sportsmanship has real consequences. The rules themselves are there to protect the spirit of the game. So the whole point of competition becomes something different. It's like a laboratory, It's the place where players finally get to test out all those skills they've been sharpening during that 70% of training time. Sure, winning is great, but the real goal is to see that hard work pay off in a real game situation. Okay, we've talked about fun, coaching, the long-term plan, and competition. But there is one last piece of the puzzle. It's the intangible thing that turns a skilled player into a true champion, and that is their mindset. It all starts with how you look at challenges. I love this from three-time Olympic gold medalist Carrie Walsh Jennings. She doesn't see adversity as a setback. She sees it as a tool, as something that actually strengthens you and makes you better. Then you have this relentless drive for improvement. The legend Karch Kiraly puts it so bluntly. Every single day is a choice. You're either working to get better or you're getting worse. There is no standing still. And finally, it's this deep, deep understanding of teamwork. As the legendary coach Marv Dunphy says, you just can't freelance in volleyball. It's not possible. It is a game of interdependence. Your success is completely tied to the success of the person next to you. So we've walked this path all the way from a fun first touch of the ball to the mindset of a champion. What does it all add up to in the end? The answer is pretty clear. Greatness is a process. It is not a single event. It's built piece by piece, layer by layer. It starts with that foundation of fun, it's shaped by incredible coaching, it's strengthened by a smart, patient plan, and it's all held together by a resilient, team-first mindset. And maybe nothing captures this whole idea better than this last thought from Karch Kiraly. He was asked how he prepared to win an Olympic gold medal. His answer? I never did. I only prepared to win the next day. It's just such a powerful reminder that the biggest achievements are really just the result of focusing on and winning the day that's right in front of you.